Pollinators play such an important part in the world. 1 out of every 3 bites of food is down to pollinators. Before I begin, it would be great if you could give this video a thumbs up, please, and share with your family and friends. And of course, subscribe to my channel for loads more great videos like this. Pollinators pollinate over 180,000 different species of plants. In fact, between 75 and 90% of the world's flowers are helped by pollinators, be it bees, other insects, butterflies and moths, and of course the birds, the bats and the wind also help in pollinating. But you can make a real difference in your own garden by having plants that provide food for pollinators. They're also pretty beautiful plants at the same time. The secret with helping pollinators in your garden is making sure that there's a regular supply of successional flowering. Right from the beginning of the year, when dandelions first come out, I leave the dandelions to flower to give bees, vital bits of food before other plants start to come into flower. So by mapping and having plants that flower at different times of the year that offer food specifically beneficial to pollinators is a really positive thing. Let me show you a few of my favourites. First one up here is Pulsatilla vulgaris. Now this is a really lovely flowering plant, very soft, delicate, tactile foliage, and the bees really love it. Now bees have enhanced photoreceptors, which means they can see UV light, so coloured flowers like purple and blue are particularly good, but Pulsatilla is a lovely flowering plant to give you a lot of early colour in your garden and very good for your pollinators too. Now another favourite is Aubrietia, and this is a very good plant, just keeps getting bigger and better every year. It's got masses of flowers, but it's really good if you plant it in the top of a wall, it will cascade down the outside, or if you've got it on a rockery, it will creep over other rocks. It's a really good plant for pollinators and a very practical plant to have in the garden as well. A good favourite of mine is the elephant ear, or Bergenia. It's got squeaky like leaves, but it has these beautiful early spring flowers. It always makes me feel a spring at this time. Great landing for pollinators on the side of these big flowers to be able to get inside and get hold of the pollen and nectar. And now that works particularly well. Of course, Iris as well, the candy tuft. This is a beautiful plant. When it's finished flowering, I usually give it a bit of a trim, but it will grow and spread really well in the garden. So it doesn't just have to be purple plants, there are many others. A big favourite that seems to be almost in flower is Ericium, the perennial wallflower. And this constantly sends out, and look at the buds, loads more to come with this plant. It's a really giving plant, and it'll last in the garden a good few years before you really have to buy another one to replace, but it just keeps springing up flowers upon flowers, which not only puts a smile on our face, but it also helps with the little pollinators as well. Now campanulas, there are earlier flowering ones, a lot of them are forced into early flower as well. Campanula meaning bell-like, the little flowers. We always think, with me and my kids, that they're hats for fairies, but they're really good. Certainly planted in hanging baskets, containers, rockeries, borders, or again planted on a wall to cascade down. Really good for pollinators. Now a really big one, it doesn't just have to be bedding like plants. This is Ceanothus. It's about to come into flower. We've gone from early spring into late spring, coming into early summer shortly, but these purple, some of them are purple, some of them are blue, depends on the variety you get. It's a very good side of the wall to grow up as a climber and produce a lot of flowers, perfect for pollinators. Now Aquilegias, or Columbine, these are really good. There are many different colours with these. You can get them in purple, you can get them in reds, you can get them in yellows. This particular one is a pink with almost a vanilla inner colour. It's really good for borders to give you a lot of colour, and of course perfect flowers for pollinators. And lupins are the same. Lupins, this hasn't come into flower yet. This is all successional. Later on in the summer, these will come out. Beautiful display of colour. I've got some marvellous one planted in the border just behind you, and these ones will be soon to follow. Now, as you're getting later into the summer, things like lavenders, things like chives, put massive. It looks really scrappy now, but later on in the season, when they're in full flower, you'll have a huge attraction. Things like buddleias are also pretty good. Great for the butterflies, they love them, and you can enjoy seeing them flit around, but also good additions. Later on into the season, things like hebes have masses of colours. All the pollinators are after these plants. They're so good in the garden. Long, late flowering colour, just when you've had your first holiday during the summer, the latter part of the holiday, these come out to give you a great deal of colour. And then right into the autumn, things like fatsias don't look much now, but they have these globe white flowers during the autumn months, which are perfect for pollination. So it's about spreading out a whole selection from early on in spring right the way through to the autumn. Balancing out plant varieties like this play a significant part in supporting the pollinators that visit your garden. Just choose one per month in your garden to give them a bit of a help. Now, if you like this video and like some more hints and tips on how you can create a beautiful garden but support the creatures that live in it too, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video and share it. I hope all the pollinators that visit your garden are blessed with loads of food so they can come and play a part in this country with the beautiful ecosystem that we have in our gardens from the north right through to the south.